So once you remove these, you just check them. So we can remove these. Shit. Like that. There's nothing harder than this. And it's better to use a bungee cord to hold this so it doesn't keep falling on you. Or if you want, you can just remove that bolt on top, so you can just hang the whole caliper on the suspension, or do anything, you know. Just don't leave it dangling. Something else now, every time you replace the brake pads, we also have to replace these sliders. And if it doesn't come, your fuel pads doesn't come with sliders like these and the spring on top, you just have to you simply clean those old ones that you got there. Push on that one on top, right there. So one of the advices is do not mess with two sides, just mess with one side. So these caliper sliders, if your brake pads doesn't come with a new one, so you just simply can just clean those ones. I'll try to pull them. They were just easy to be pulled by hand or by screwdriver, flathead screwdriver. And be very careful. Don't forget to wear protection for your eyes. And once it's open, do some inspection. So you look for any kind of leaks around the cylinders. This case looks pretty good. And what you have to do now, you put your new sliders, or like my case, I'm gonna clean them because I'm not gonna replace my brake pads. They're still good. I'm just doing this for demonstration. So that you just do cleaning them. These sliders rule is to make it easy for the pads to slide like that. So what makes sense is to grease that area. And also these pins are also very important to grease. All you have to do is just give them some grease. This one is not that bad, but we need to put some more grease here and the one on top. So the caliper was recently installed, so it's not a big deal because it's still clean. But usually after a while, you know, and if your rubber boot start getting bad, you need to clean this from dirt and just grease it very well, so you got a smooth brake when it moves. So when you push your brakes, the pistons will push the first pad and then it will slide all the way there, and that's gonna make your brake smoother and like runs quieter. So here I have a brake lubricant. Don't use any kind of grease, just use a kind of silicone grease, any kind of grease that's compatible with a little bit of heat, because you got a little bit of heat here when the car is applying the brakes, when you apply the brakes. And also it should be like compatible with the rubber. It should not eat on rubber. So just get some, put around. So every time you replace your pads, don't forget to do this. And sometimes, even if your brake pads are good, like my case, I'm just doing some lubrication here to make things run easier and smoother. So the other pin on top, I'm gonna only remove once I put back the other bolt. So I got my caliper held there in place and will not fall. Put it right here. And yeah, this one is still tight. I'm getting it loose. This one is 12 millimeter, same as the one on the bottom. So if you got both turning, actually pen have like a flange or area to hold it. Sometimes you have to hold that with a wrench, open-end wrench. That's gonna help the bolt to go out. There you go. That's our bolt. Put it here, and let's slide our caliper out, and the pin should slide out easily. So you got plenty of grease here. I'm still gonna put a little, not too much, but please don't put too much of grease. You got a little bit of grease. Put it back. Okay, let's just put it back here. Just slide it in. Our sliders also are going to need some grease. Take some grease with your hand and just put it here. Don't worry about it. You can put a glop here. Don't worry about it. It will. And don't put too much. That's gonna collect a lot of dirt anyway. So let's just slide it back. So right now we brought a bungee cord to hold our stuff. Let's see where we can hold it. Something. And just let it in place. These sliders, just be sure how to mount them. If you're not sure, go and check the other side. And it depends, their shape depends from a car to another. I think that's a better angle to see how it's gonna be mounted. There you go. They're always like that. They're gonna be like clamped like that. Same way with the one that goes on top. It's all the same. We'll grease it. I didn't clean this that much because it's a little bit clean. Put some grease in it and put it up. Yes, I got the whole rotor loose. Actually, for a better thing, you can just put one of these lug nuts, tighten against the hub, and that way you won't be worried about it moving. Make sure it's all secure and it's all working pretty good. On the caliper, if you want to grease these areas, they already have some grease. It's old grease and it's getting a little bit dirty, but it's still good. You can grease some of these areas because this is where the pistons, this is where you got the pistons like applying the pressure on one side. On the other side you got that the other end of the caliper, but it's also better to grease it, but don't put that much of grease. So right now we're going to slide them in. Everything is done with a little bit of patience. It's not tough work. So this is a Mustang, and on other kind of calipers, the steps are different. Push that back in. See, in this case, our caliper went back in without any problem, but usually you gotta push the pistons back. Mine get back in without any problem because they were already pushed, and the size of the pads did not change. Usually they get thicker, and then you have no room to do that. But what you do, you use a clamp, any kind of clamp, like let's say from carpentry or whatever, and just clamp it back in, push it back in. So the next step, to put this one, the role of this one is not like, it looks like a slider, but its role is to always apply a pressure on both sides of the pads to hold them in place. And you always find these, and it depends from a car to another, but you always find some kind of spring loaded things. So let's put this spring in that have a roll to keep them pads in place and apply like a pressure on them. And if you're not sure how it goes in, check the other side. And if you want, you can also take pictures so you never forget about it. So this one, it's gonna slide in like that, and it's gonna try to push it in, clamped in place. Put back in the caliper. If you feel like something not right or something strange, just keep jiggling it a little bit and it will go in place. And like I said, if you have to push the cylinders back, it's very necessary you do that. And then let's put this one back in place. Honestly, I'm just gonna tighten them. I'm not sure about the this pass. Brake job is done. That's pretty much it, you know. That's pretty much everything you need to know about it. And then let's go ahead and do that. Actually, they're loose. Like I said, you could use an open-end wrench to hold these pins from turning, but I held them with my hand till I get it snug, and they're not gonna turn a lot. Don't go too crazy with going with tightness. That should be great. That should be good. Just a little. Yeah, that's good. Should never forget about this. If not for the camera, I could have forgotten this. Right? That's good. What's happening? We're doing a car downgrade now today, unfortunately, and it's very sad to see, but we're downgrading the tires because I'm just gonna keep them to a better project. So that's pretty much it for today. We could only do the front tires because it's getting late. It's getting a little bit dark and it's a little bit cold. So tomorrow we'll do the back tires and we'll do the back calipers.